morning, everybody. This is Mikael from Healthwise Enterprise, the health food store that's located at 3807 East 8 Mile Road, about 3 blocks west of Ryan, between Ryan and DeQuinta. It's a big parking lot between us and Long John Silver, and they said we can use their lot because our lot is small. We're there to service you Monday through Saturday from 10 to 7, and you can call us directly at the store at area code 586 757 diet. Again, that's 586 757 diet. That's 3438. Our old number still works, 313-366 diet. And if you want to text me, you can at 313-600-8532. I love to do one-on-ones, okay? And talking to folks one-on-one is nothing like it. I mean, virtual is good and telephone is good, but it's not like sitting down face-to-face with somebody. Because communications, what is it, 7% words, 38% tonality, and 55% physiology. And you get that when you in face-to-face with somebody. And just feeling great. And that's what I want for everybody. Now, whether they want that for themselves, I don't know, but I get that idea from Jesus because he always saw the potential in you, okay? And he always saw the greatness in you, the God in you. And I thought that was a good, Jesus is a good mentor. I can follow along with what he's talking about. And his father, my father, God, provided us one of the most powerful nutrients for our body, free. It's called sunshine. And got to be put here, and it says, don't underestimate your need for this critical nutrient that's free, sunshine. And if you don't know what that means by now, that's vitamin D3. When your sun hits your skin, if you ain't got no protection, the so-called skin protection on it, the blockers, okay. See, in Africa, they use shea butter because it helps protect your skin from the burning of the sun, but still lets the healing properties of the sun get into your body. When you use them blockers, it keep you from burning, but you lose the benefits of the sun that's providing these health nutrients for your body. So it's about 30,000 functions that your body goes through every day, and vitamin D3 is involved in just about every one of them. I like to do both, the sun, which we can now get for the next 2 or 3 months, and but I take the supplement, and each one of our pills is 5,000 IUs, international units per pill. And I usually take 2 of those. It was Dr. Barefoot who told me back in 1999 about taking 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3 a day. And I've been doing it since then, so it's that 23 years. In a 2018 research called for an immediate revision of public health recommendations on the sun exposure, noting that, quote, non-burning UV exposure is a health benefit and in moderation should be recommended as such. 4 years later, in 2022, the public is still being misled and misinformed about the health ramifications of sun avoidance, as there are significant hazards associated with vitamin D deficiency, including heightened risk of heart disease, several cancers, especially internal cancers, but also lethal skin cancer. Okay, because it never made sense to me. God gave us a sun, and you sit in the sun, you're gonna get cancer. Wait a minute now. We've been here for thousands of years, millions of years. Okay, humans at least millions, and sun, post getting cancer, that wipe us out. It would defeat the purpose of what God put us here for. Come on, it needs some protection, and I like coconut oil. In the winter, in the spring and fall, and in the summertime, I like the shea butter because it's thicker, and I'm in the sun more, riding a bike, walking, talking, whatever. Yeah, so this is just my choices, and it's working for me. Sensible sun exposure is the most effective way to optimize your vitamin D level. Sun exposure also has health benefits beyond vitamin D production that help lower your risk of chronic diseases and death. When you're deficient in vitamin D, it's vitamin D3, your health can deteriorate at a variety of important ways because your cells require, not optional, require the active form of vitamin D3 to gain access to the genetic blueprint stored inside your cells. You got a system set up by God, and you got to follow along with the system. You can't fool Mother Nature. An estimate 12% of all U.S. deaths may be linked to inadequate sun exposures, and sun avoidance is as potent a risk of factor for death as smoking cigarettes. A couple years ago, I had ran across this worldwide study, and it said they could prevent 80% of the COVID deaths by people taking 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3 a day, based on this worldwide study. And these two studies was in Chicago and Boston. I mean, there's other places around the world, but it said 80%, it's like for pills of the confidence, the vitamin D3, it's like 20 cents a pill. So based on this study, at Healthwise, we could prevent 80% of the deaths in Chicago and Boston for 40 cents. Oh, no, no, no. The powers that be can't handle that. Can't make no money off no 40%. And you're going to save 80% of the people? When they have plans to just, no, that's not going to happen. They just like, ooh. See, it's always been about the rich, the elites versus the poor. It's never been about black and white. That's a facade. Never been about all these different religions fighting over each other. That's a facade. And you fall for the okie doke. Okay, as long as the super rich can keep you fighting among each other, you ain't thinking about combining, because there's a million of us compared to the less than 1% of the people who are making these decisions. And the threat is us getting smart and intelligent and binding together. Okay? So they wipe out our leaders. But it's in us. The leadership that leaders have, we have it too. To me, it's a matter of stepping up and believing in God to follow along with that leadership skills that you have. Okay? The research in questions published in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health in December of 2018 called wait a minute, I must have skipped something. I did. This original article came out February 11, 2019. A 2019 article in Outside Magazine highlighted the importance of sensible skin exposure, stating current guidelines for sun exposure are unhealthy and unscientific. Controversial new research suggests, and quite possibly even racism. How do we get it so wrong? Wow. The research in question, published in International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health in December 2018, called for immediate revision of public health recommendations, noting that non-burning UV exposure is a health benefit in moderation and should be recommended as such. Okay, I'm gonna be in the sun, biking, riding, um, uh, swimming, whatever. I try to keep the sun exposure for maybe 20, 30 minutes. Okay, and if I'm moving, then, it just got that sweat and it's okay and stuff. But as long as I like coconut oil or the shea butter. Africa's been using the shea butter for years. The authors warn that public is being misled and misinformed about the health ramifications of sun exposure, sun avoidance, as there are significant hazards associated with vitamin D deficiencies, including a heightened risk of heart disease and several cancers, especially internal cancers, but also skin cancer. So that's what Dr. Barefoot's recommended was the 10,000 IUs, international units of vitamin D3 to prevent cancer. This was back in 1999. Vitamin D research demonstrated vitamin D is involved in the biochemical functions of nearly every cell and tissue in our bodies, including your immune system. Okay? Somebody put this lie about, more people getting colds and flus and pandemic. The vitamin D is key. When you're deficient in vitamin D, your health can deteriorate in a variety of important ways because your cells require the active form of vitamin D to gain access to the genetic blueprints stored inside your cells. A press release by Canadian Vitamin D Society noted, quote, the authors examined the current state of scientific research and found that severe sunburns are linked to an increased risk of melanoma, but non-burning sun exposure is linked to a reduced risk of melanoma. This is a message the public never received from current public health guidelines, states Dr. David Hole, leading author, Department of Public Health Science, Medical University of Southern Carolina. The public is led to believe that all sun exposure should be avoided and that the avoidance of sun exposure is free of risk from health perspective. This is not the case. We need the sun to be in our lives, to be on us. See, in Michigan, you covered up most of the time, so we need the sun. Indeed, the paper warns an estimate 12% of all U.S. deaths may be linked to inadequate sun exposure, and that sun avoidance is potential risk factor in deaths as much as smoking cigarettes. Somebody pointed out that back in the 50s, doctors made commercials smoking cigarettes. Okay? They did everything they could to convince the public that cigarettes was good for us. And it turned out that it was very harmful. And that's the same thing they're doing right now. Sun exposure guidelines put certain radical groups at risk. Important current guidelines, which recommend sun avoidance for all, are completely inappropriate for darker skinned individuals who not only are at far lower risk of skin damage from sun exposure, but actually require far more sun. Dark-skinned people require far more sun. and therefore tend to be more prone to vitamin D deficiency to begin with. Black folks need more sun. That's what they call the sun people. We need more sun. As such, it requires certain guidelines for far more harmful to certain racial groups. Issuing sun exposure guidelines that fail to take skin color into account is a really nonsensical and most definitely definitively unscientific stance, yet it's the recommendations of most health organizations, including the U.S. Surgeon General, the American Academy of Dermatology, and the Skin Cancer Foundation. When asked why the recommendations failed to take into account skin types and color, Dr. Henry Lin, who sits on the Skin Cancer Foundation Photobiology Committee, foolishly and ignorantly replied that such information is irrelevant because vitamin D3 supplements can address deficiency, according to Dr. Lin. Quote, "We want to make it simple as a public health message as to what the public should be reasonable, be able to absorb and understand. To fine-tune is just too complicated." Come on. But anyway, black folks need more sun. You got the message. Okay. But by oversimplifying the matter, dermatologists place a greater number of people at grave risk for vitamin D deficiencies, which may not be identified until health problems have already set in. What's more, research suggests that most effective way to raise your vitamin D level is not through supplementations, but through sun exposure. See, we can do that because we got, May, we're in May, we got June, July, August, September. So we got like 4 months to get that sun exposure. But during them other 8 months, get the vitamin D3. I'm doing vitamin D3 every day, sun or not. Sun exposure benefits health in a made of ways. See, Oprah did a study back about 12 years ago. Her doctors had people taking 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3 and no side effects. Good morning, everybody. This is, how we do this. Okay. Good morning, everybody. This is Mikael from Healthwise. The health food store is located at 3807 East 8 Mile Road, about 3 blocks west of Ryan. And we're there to service you, our community, Monday through Saturday from 10 to 7. You can call us directly at the store at 586-757-DIET. Again, that's 586-757-DIET. You can also reach me at 586-757-DIET is the store, but 313-600-8532 is me. Text messages there is really, really good way to I can get back with you and sometimes get the message information that you're looking for right away. It's the technology age we live in. I love it. This morning, it's this old formula that I just wanted to bring to your attention. It's called methylene blue, and there's a couple of videos, but I don't know if I can get this to one. And this one talks about it dealing with cancer, but it's it's a whole lot more than that. But because it deals with the engine of your cells, what they call the mitochondria, and this provide the nourishment so that your mitochondria can operate at peak performance and not only deal with cancer, but a whole lot more. Okay. They can't patent it, okay, because it's been around for, I don't know, 100 years and things, or more, and it's really inexpensive, but it's really, really powerful. And so I can only give you this quick review, which just says about 9 or 10 minutes, and hopefully we could you could see it. But the main thing I want you to do is hear it, okay? Um, about the methylene blue and its powers is I can't say healing powers, but give your body what it needs to become 100% healthy, okay? Um, the guy that's introducing is scientific, but uh, is the name on the YouTube, I think it is why I use methylene blue for cancer, and if you that's METHYLENE. Okay, METHYLEME. I suggest that you look it up because we live in an age was we all have encyclopedias right in our hand. Okay, and you can still go to Google and still get some good information. Uh, they're doing what they can to eliminate that, but the good thing is that we share information with each other, and that's what they can't control. They're trying to, I believe you, uh, because information is a power. But we said Healthwise, applied information is power. And like I say, people get great results sharing information with each other, even though it's not scientific. They can wait on the science, which usually I hear doctors is like 20 years behind what the science is talking about. Because they had to do all this proof and double-blind studies and things like that. So you can wait on that. But some pioneers, risk takers, whatever you want to, path makers, they check things out and right away and get good results, and they share with one another. And that's what some of the things that we do with the Healthwise family. They bring us information, and we share information with them because we know that we're looking out for one another. Whereas the main media, one thing I can say about COVID, it woke a lot of folks up because a lot of folks lost family and friends needlessly. Okay, and the hospitals got paid big bucks for it, and it's like the trust and the respect for the medical professionals went way down, and which means people going back to where we started off at, which is with God. The vitamins, the minerals, the trace minerals, the fatty acids, the precursors, the friendly bacteria, the live foods. Okay, those are the things that God provides for us to thrive. Food heals. And all those are part of the food chain that's been taken out because food is healing. They take all those things out, people get sick, and then they can promote their drugs and things like that. Um, but the medical profession does provide some really good benefits. You just have to be careful. Okay. Now the thing I was trying to show you guys is, here we go. I got to pull it back up. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Now here we go. We got to start over.
Talk about a very interesting point about cancer. Inside your mitochondria, which is the energy factor of your cell, which depends on oxygen, to a different metabolism, which is outside the mitochondria, okay, that's not dependent on oxygen. It ferments glucose, okay, and other things, but typically we have this shift that occurs, and it's called the Warburg effect, okay? If we can know a little bit more about this shift, I think it's important in dealing with cancer. All cancer cells come from normal cells, okay? It's not like some viral infection. They come from normal cells. And there's something that occurs that converts them from a normal cell to a cancer cell. So one interesting difference between the normal cell and the cancer cell is the number of ATPs it generates. Now, ATP is the energy currency, okay, of that cell. Okay, it's like a stored energy. With a normal cell, you generate like 30 ATP. A cancer cell only generates 2. Okay, 2 ATPs. So it's not very efficient. It's kind of a very crude motor. So that means that that cancer cell is extremely hungry and it'll work faster than normal cells. And so that's how it makes up the difference. It just works faster and it starts hogging all the nutrients and the sugar and things like that. So that's one thing. But the big question is, what occurs at this switching point from a normal cell to a cancer cell, okay? That's kind of what I want to dive into. And I'm going to try to make this extremely simple for you because there's a lot of complexities. In your mitochondria, you have a lot going on. You're basically taking food and turning it into this ATP, all right? And in the process, there's a lot of chemical interaction going on, and there's a lot of breaking things down, okay? And there's electrons involved. Just like your battery. If you think about a battery, it has electrons. And you're storing these electrons. If you can imagine, if you just punched holes in that battery and just drained all these electrons out, the battery would be completely dead. It wouldn't be recharged. So the storage of these electrons is very, very important. So you have this thing in the mitochondria, which is called the electron transport chain. And the only thing you need to know about that is it's involved in the energy storage in that ATP, going from food to ATP, and so it contributes to energy. And it's very complex, and you have, actually it's even named complexes, right? You have complex 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the area that I want to talk about is that fourth complex. And I want to give you the name for it, but just realize it's just like the last phase of this electron transportation mechanism. It's called cytochrome C oxidase. It's the enzyme that helps make oxygen, and it's involved in these electron things. And the importance of why I'm bringing this up is that a dysfunction of that fourth complex, okay, that triggers this switch from a normal cell to an abnormal cancer cell. So you can kind of look at the mitochondria like a leaking battery. Someone punched holes in it, and we're getting all these electrons that are coming out, and they're just destroying everything in that mitochondria. They're destroying the DNA, they're destroying the tissues, other parts of that cell. And now that cell can no longer produce oxygen. And so as a survival mechanism, your body turns on ancient genes that are outside the mitochondria, and they adapt to survive without this oxygen. Okay, and that is what cancer is. I mean, this is a completely new look or viewpoint on cancer, but it's a cell that is adapted to try to survive in an environment that just doesn't have oxygen. And the problem with cancer is it's growing so fast and it gets big, it starts to block things. If it blocks the blood vessels, you get edema. If it blocks your lung, you'll get a swelling in your lung. If it blocks your bile ducts, you'll get jaundice because it backs up into the liver. And this is what eventually kills you. Now, I just want to come back to this oxygen thing, right? Because now we have a diminished oxygen. The term for that is called hypoxia. Now, there's also a gene involved in this triggering or this switching from a normal cell to a cancer cell. And this gene is called hypoxia inducible factor 1 alpha. Okay, well, we're just going to call it HIF-1 alpha. And all you need to know is that it's involved in hypoxia, a lack of oxygen. So it's this lack of oxygen that's involved in this switching mechanism. And this is kind of really important to know, especially since this gene is involved and a lot of new cancer therapies are trying to inhibit that gene. But hypoxia is a big, big problem. In fact, hypoxia is the main feature in tumors. So you have this situation where you have not enough oxygen, but they're able to survive. And normal cells can't survive without oxygen. So I've done a lot of videos on cancer. Okay, I have even a protocol that I recommend, and talking about a lot of different strategies and what foods to eat and what nutrition to take, etc., etc. But there is one really important additional thing I would add to your protocol that I haven't talked about in other videos. And this substance that I'm going to talk about can act as an alternative acceptor of electrons. You can look at it like a sponge that soaks up electrons, and it specifically targets that fourth complex, that cytochrome C oxidase, that thing that actually makes oxygen that it's not making oxygen. It targets that and bypasses that so you can make oxygen again, and you can make ATP again. And so it's a substance that can overcome hypoxia, which basically can make O2 available again. And this substance is actually used in pretty much every emergency room, okay, by emergency room doctors. And it's used to counter carbon monoxide poisoning, okay, and cyanide poisoning, and other poisonings. And it just so happens that cyanide poisoning and carbon monoxide poisoning also targets and destroys that fourth complex that I just mentioned. And this substance is methylene blue. Methylene blue was one of the first drugs used in the medical profession. And they used it, I think, for an anti-malarial, or it could have been an antidepressant in the late 1800s. But of course you can't patent it now, and there's not a lot of money in it, but apparently there is a tremendous amount of research, especially with cancer. I mean, there's like over 100 years of research on this substance, okay, and it's actually a blue dye, and it's actually quite fascinating. But it does a lot, but one of the things it does is it helps to bypass damage within your mitochondria and helps to soak up the electrons that are creating damage. So I wanted to tell you about it and put it within your awareness so you have an additional thing to help you in various health conditions. I mean, just type in Google any cancer, okay, in methylene blue. Also type in methylene blue in Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or pretty much any condition, and you probably will find a research study on it. It's quite fascinating. And of course, the beneficial effects of methylene blue occurred when you're taking low doses. And the dose I would recommend would be like 20 drops, maybe 40 drops in some water. Maybe you want to put some electrolyte powder or something just to cover the taste. Don't drink it. Drink it with a straw because it will turn your lips blue. It does stain your urine green. So if you're female and you're married and your husband's on this product, you'll quickly be able to see if he's able to urinate actually inside the toilet and not outside the toilet, because it'll stain certain things green. Now there's 3 grades of methylene blue. The one that you want to get is the pharmaceutical grade. It's called USP grade. That's the one I would recommend. And if you haven't seen my other video on methylene blue, I put that one up right here. Check it out.
Okay. Like I said, just wanted to introduce you to that. Like I said, there's a lot of time scientific research out there about methylene blue. And you see, he hinted at the end. Alzheimer's. It's like every disease, okay, that you run across, it suggests that you put the thing methylene blue in there in that disease, and you more than likely going to run across a scientific study that's going to tell you the benefits of how they use methylene blue to help get the body what it needs to fight off that dis-ease. We go this way. Here we go. And the one we could say, the USP grade, it's a new product that we just found out about, and it's true. Usually I take things like liquid like this here, like the the prostrate things and I put them up under my tongue. Okay. Well, of course, when I got this and it's a liquid, I put it up under my tongue, and I didn't even think about it. And when I got home, my wife's like, well, "What's wrong with you? Your teeth is blue, your tongue is blue, your lips is blue, everything is blue." So that's kind of funny. So now I take the 20 drops and I put it in the back of my throat and drink some water or juice, whatever I'm taking right with it. Um, it don't have a great taste to it, but like I always say, as long as you get it past your tongue, then the rest of your body uh, can reap the benefits of it. Okay, a lot of folks get stuck on, well, if it don't taste good, they don't want to take it. That's putting too much power on your tongue. Okay, because your brain, your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, your blood system, lymphatic system, your skin, every organ and gland in your body do not care how anything tastes. Okay, is zero in, does it have the nourishment to rebuild a healthy cell? That's what your body's looking for. And God put these five taste buds on our tongue for a reason, to let our body know what's coming, not for you to determine whether you're going to take it or not. Okay, I call it a grown folks move. We got 1,000, because I asked God to help me with this, because I was hearing it so much. But we got 1,440 minutes every day. It take 1 minute to take things that's bitter, like the methylene blue, and the rest of the day, your body can reap the benefits. 1 minute out of 1440 minutes per day. Okay, 1,439 minutes that your body can reap the benefits of you sacrificing 1 minute to get these bitters past your tongue. Okay, the benefits is tremendous. So don't get. So we've been exposed. When we children, and if, well, I don't want to take this because it don't taste good. The peas and whatever, or the green foods, it don't taste good. Okay, but we need to zero in on why God has given us distinguish between sugar and sour, okay, and salt and bitters, because it's a reason. It's a signal that we want to get a body, let you know that nourishment is coming, so it can make a difference. Now, one more thing I would say about the methylene blue is the energy level. I took it not knowing. I was just checking it out, and I didn't know it gives you so much energy. Okay, but it makes everything you take, all your vitamins and minerals, etc., become more efficient, because your mitochondria, which is the engine of your cells, are now operating at a higher level. And so all your foods and waters and nutrients are getting better absorbed, okay, on a cellular level. And so that's just, I'm excited about that. As far as your urine, yes, it's methylene blue. And if you remember a science project, you mix yellow and we mix yellow and blue together, you get green. And if most folks are not drinking enough water, then the urine come out yellow. And then you mix this methylene blue, your urine will come out green, but it's okay. 20 drops. He said 40 drops. Okay, but 20 drops is it works. All right. If you want to get into even more drops, you can. So So that was, like I said, something new. I'm gonna see if I could get something from a cola about the methylene blue, because he usually has, a lot of good information. That's MERCOLA and .com. MERCOLA.com. Now, you can get a lot of good information from his website, and I would suggest he give you a lot of good information for free. But if you become a member, which is like $5 a month, you get a whole lot more information that could empower you. Okay, and that's what we're looking for, is to get empowered. Surprisingly, I should say not surprised. Okay, the surprise health benefits of methylene blue. I give as much information as I can about this. Methylene blue is the patent molecule used to manufacture two off-patent drugs that make help with certain infections. Here's what else it can do for you. Methylene blue helps the mitochondria, respiration, and improve brain energy metabolism. By doing that, it can improve cognitive performance and prevent neurodegeneration. I like the way he put this. Food for the brain. Okay, neurodegeneration is where people get dementia and Alzheimer's. Okay, your recall, sharpness. Methylene blue is the parent molecule for the hydrochlorophene and the chlorine, off-patent drugs commonly used to treat not only malaria but also COVID-19. Okay. Emergency rooms around the world use it, as it's the only known antidote for metabolic poisoning causing methylgenopathy. I'm not even going to try to mention that, which is when a metabolic poison interferes with the transport of oxygen in the hemoglobin. See, cancer grows when you don't have enough oxygen in it. Dr. Otto Warburg, for 8 years, for 8 years, he cured people of all kind of cancers from 1923, 100 years ago, to 1931, using food-grade hyperoxide, because it's loaded with oxygen. All right. And here, emergency rooms around the world use it, as it's the only known antidote for metabolic poisoning causing, which is when a metabolic poison interferes with the transport of oxygen in the hemoglobin in your blood. Methylene blue is a hormetic drug, so low doses have the opposite effect of high doses, 20 drops. Low doses, which is 0.5 milligrams to 1 milligram per kilo of body weight, as recommended for non-acute, longer-term treatment. Uses include the prevention of treatment of dementia, post-stroke, and other brain injuries, cognitive enhancement, and the general optimization of health if you're already healthy. Okay. I'm loving the effects of it. Okay. I take 20 drops about every other day. Okay, because it's really, really powerful. And whenever I do things. I always encourage people to listen, tune into your body. It'll tell you what you need. And this, okay, I don't know how much we can get into this here. It says in this interview, this Dr. Lemma discussed a really powerful strategy to improve your mitochondria, which generates the vast majority of the energy your cells produce from food. Dr. Lind is an expert in mitochondria blue, which helps the mitochondria respiration and improve brain energy metabolism. By doing that, it can improve cognitive performance and prevent neurodegeneration. With the mitochondria blue, we have been able to show all of these benefits, says Dr. Lim. Our group was the first group to map the effects of methylene blue in the brain of humans and show its effect on improving brain metabolism, blood flow, and memory functions. Now, the blood flow, dealing with the sexual aspects, what makes a man firm is the blood. Okay? And the blood is 95% water. But here we're talking about methylene blue to enhance the blood flow. Let you know it even enhances your, you make that mental leap. What is methylene blue? It is the parent molecule for the hydrochlorine and is off-parent drug commonly used to treat not only malaria but also COVID-19. Best known as the fish tank antiseptic and textile dye for blue jeans. It was actually the first synthetic drug in modern history, developed in 1876. Since then, we discovered it has many really important medical benefits. The first medical application of methylene blue was for malaria back in 1890. This guy named Paul Rich, a scientist at the famous Child's Hospital in Berlin, Germany, discovered methylene blue inhibits an enzyme that weakened the malaria parasites. One of the first antipsychotic medication was also made from methylene blue. Other drugs developed form of with its include antibiotics and antiseptics. In the past, it was commonly used to treat urinary tract infections. It's also used as an antiviral agency and blood use for transfusion. To this day, methylene blue is found in every hospital in the world, as it's the only known antidote for metabolic poisoning, any poison that interferes with oxygen transport or displaces oxygen either from the blood or from the mitochondria. For example, if you're admitted for carbon monoxide poisoning, they give you methylene blue intravenously. Okay. The only known antidote for psychoid poisoning is methylene blue. It's also been speculated that methylene blue might be used in the treatment of acute lung infections such as SARS-CoV-2. Importantly, methylene blue is a homeopatic drug, which means that low doses have the opposite effect as high doses. For example, it is primarily used in emergency rooms at upper doses limited to 3 milligrams or 4 milligrams per kilo of body weight, which is used as an oxygen poison interfering with the transportation of oxygen to hemoglobin. By the iron and the hemoglobin being oxidated to +3 rather than its normal reduce of +2 state. However, if you take too high doses, you produce methylglobinemia. At doses in between, there is no effect. Likewise, low doses have an antioxidant effect. High doses are pro-oxidative and can kill bacteria and tumor cells. Methylene blue is an antioxidant and energy booster. Okay. Let's see some other highlight. Methylene improves mitochondrial respiratory improvement in your health and your congenation. If you're perfectly healthy, low doses of methylene blue would enhance an oxygen consumption, the mitochondrial respiration, and ATP production above baseline. Basically, optimizing the whole system, your whole body. So it acts as a metabolic enhancer and not just as an antidote for metabolic poisoning and other inhibitory processes. That's just a quote. Okay. Methylene blue for brain health. I mean, it's just the highlights of the urinary tract infections in the elderly. Contradictions. While methylene blue is very safe, there are some contradictions. Doses suggested, and get into that. How to select a high quality product. We went through that. Okay, so the one that I am so interested in, this little article. Now, again, you want to check this out. Do the research. Use this little encyclopedia we have in our hand called a cell phone. See, there's so much brainwashing done in the media. Now, you can believe that if you want to. But if these evil forces got techniques that's going to influence you to control your brain, they can control your body. And believe me, they got that technology and they use it through TV, through radio, even through print media. And the evil forces control 96% of the media, what we hear, see. Okay, so you be very careful what you allow to go into your brain. I was riding around the other day and listening to the radio, and I couldn't believe these young rappers had a song about killing each other. Okay, I quickly changed over to a song about loving each other, but that's the kind of music, and they not conscious of it. So not only did they have the lyrics, which is about divide and conquer, okay, they are. So you ask them, well, why do young folks so crazy, drive so crazy? Because of the music, and they trust in the sources of the music, and it's weakening your resistance, okay? Because this is a battle, believe me, and it's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years between good and evil. So you have to make a choice. You can have faith, which is with God, or you can have fear. You can't operate both of them at the same time. To me, faith is much more joyful. You know it's there when you're feeling good and you're happy. Okay, this is what they don't want. So just being happy. Do you know when you laugh, you produce these endorphins which promote healing in the body? It's amazing the things that God has given us. If we just drink, like Dick Gregory said, if we just drink our water based on our body weight, that for every 2 pounds you weigh, drink 1 ounce of water. So a 200-pound person would drink 100 ounces per day. Just drinking the water that the body needs, Dick Gregory says, will knock out 50% of the diseases in this country. Just drinking the water. But again, the folks are dealing with that taste. Okay, you can add some lemon to the water, or add you some what you call that food lemon to the water. You can add some apple cider vinegar to the water. Use about an ounce of apple cider vinegar to a gallon, or a juice from a lemon, which usually yields about an ounce to a gallon. Enhances the water. The main thing is just getting it past the tongue. Okay. And God did it miraculously. That formula, for every 2 pounds you weigh, drink 1 ounce of water, only replaces 5% of all the water in your body. Because your body is around 75% water. Okay. And you just do a little bit, and God will do the rest. You know. Methylene blue, I just I've been doing this, I don't know, for what, at this station since 2001. So that'd be 22 years. And it's the first time I ever ran across this methylene blue. And it's been around since 76, they say, 79 or something like that. And all the things that it does, it is really inexpensive. 20 drops is, the servings is crazy. But I'm really, it's like something going on with my brain, and I can feel it. And because it's becoming sharper, my recall is even better. So I'm just feeling more alert. I'm just being in tune. I just thought it was being in tune with God, but since I've been taking this, which has been about maybe 2 weeks now, I'm loving it. So I couldn't wait to come share this with you here at WHPR. So you can give us a call at the store at 586-757-DIET. Again, that's 586-757-DIET. We've been having trouble with the 313-366-DIET with AT&T. But you can reach me on the cell, 313-600-8532. And you can also visit us at 3807 East 8 Mile, which is between DeQuinta and Ryan, or Taco Bell and Long John Silver. It depends on you. But we're there to service you and give you the information. But most importantly, it's so important to share the information with family and friends. Not a whole lot, unless they're interested. We just drop, they say, some seeds. So I'll look forward to seeing you this week or seeing you soon. And still, 5 hugs a day is still healing. Peace and love, y'all.